Let's talk about why Google is starting to make Nvidia feel a little nervous and why the AI chip wars just got a lot more interesting. So for the past 3 years, Nvidia has basically been the center of the AI universe. If you wanted to train a serious model, you used Nvidia's GPUs. But over the last few weeks, it's become clear that Google has pieced together something potentially bigger. It all started with a report about Meta alleging that they were in talks to send billions on Google's custom AI chips called TPUs. And the plan starts with renting TPUs through Google Cloud, but eventually Meta may also put TPUs directly in their own data centers, making them a lot less dependent on Nvidia. That's important because Meta is one of the biggest AI infrastructure buyers. Even shifting a tiny part of its footprint would have major ripple effects. And then behind the scenes, Google has also apparently started pitching TPUs to major financial institutions where Google installs its chips inside a customer's private data center. This is the first time Google is trying to sell its silicon strategy outside of the walls of Google Cloud. And then on top of that news, Anthropic announced that they plan to use up to 1 million Google TPUs in a long-term partnership. So you're starting to see a real pattern where Meta, Anthropic, and other major enterprises are all seriously considering Google's hardware. Naturally, the market reacted instantly. Alphabet traded up as investors saw Google becoming a challenger, while Nvidia stock dropped, at one point erasing over $100 billion in market value. A big part of this conversation right now is still the difference between GPUs and TPUs, but the quick version is that Nvidia GPUs are extremely flexible. They can run almost any model, they have a massive CUDA ecosystem, and they still make up over 90% of the AI accelerator market. Google TPUs, on the other hand, are custom built. So they're less flexible, but they're a lot cheaper, sometimes 50 to 90% cheaper, and highly efficient at the transformer math behind modern AI models. So you're starting to see a tension between flexibility or efficiency. If Meta and Anthropic successfully start running major workloads on TPUs, then companies suddenly gain pricing leverage against Nvidia. Not to mention, Google can bundle TPUs with other long-term cloud commitments, which makes the economics even more attractive. All while Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and even OpenAI are all developing their own custom chips. Google just happens to be the first one to prove that it can scale. But at the same time, Nvidia still has massive advantages. The lock-in to CUDA is real, entire research pipelines depend on it, and switching costs are expensive and painful. And flexibility does matter, especially when researchers keep experimenting with new architectures. So the big story here isn't that Nvidia necessarily is being completely toppled, but it is being challenged seriously for the first time in the AI boom, and we may start to see some cracks in their monopoly.